All praises to the heavenly creator of all that is, of the earth, the seas, and humanity. This is Revelations.Unveiled.Detroit, with a great pleasure and honor to be back with you again in the spirit of the Messiah, who is the heavenly word of the creator of all made flesh. And so I am back gratefully and humbly to speak with you again. And this is going to be the beginning of a new series. And it's going to be titled the Sabbath Wisdom Series. So we're going to be exploring and listening and feeling and hearing the wisdom in the words of the Lord. And the motivation for this series is upon multiple facets. One, it is always me personally in my walk and journey to examine myself, reprove myself, and to continue to refine my spiritual mentality so that my physical carnal walk on earth is as righteous as possible, given this wicked flesh that we dwell in. So also I want to present this series as an introduction to my own seed, offspring, children. I want to speak these words of the wisdom of the Lord to them so it can be documented that it was said, and they can't say, no, well, Dad didn't tell me so. We're going to take care of that on that front. And then also for the young brothers and sisters that I engage as I sojourn to and fro in the world, and I look at them and I see myself when I was that age, and it's so much that I wish, okay, it's so much so in hindsight that wish, we're going to use the word wish for lack of a better term, that I could have known or heard at various points of time to have had that path cleared away for me as I was moving through. So my motivation also is to speak to those young brothers and sisters. And when I say young, I'm talking 25 to 13. They have understanding. They know what's going on in the world. And so also maybe, hey, if it's some other brothers out there that's in my age range where we've been on the earth maybe 35 years plus, if they get motivated to contribute, a series of wisdom, all praises to the heavenly creator. So I'm going to start with the Sabbath Wisdom Series. This is the Holy Sabbath, which in the Gregorian calendar falls on Friday sundown to Saturday sundown. We are to be at rest and peace and convocating, coming together, gathering, assembling as Israelites. The newly realizing Israelites, Israelites who've known for whatever various degrees of time, and those brothers and sisters that are pending understanding our actual identity and nationhood. So my portion of this assembly, if it reaches the global audience of YouTube, this is my portion or contribution to the Sabbath weekly wisdom. My primary audience being the scattered tribes of the house of Jacob. And, that's a general term that I always say the scattered tribes of the house of Jacob. So we're going to start defining some terms. And so we're going to start with finding out who the house of Jacob is, or the Israelites. And then what we're going to do is introduce ourselves to King Solomon, Brother King Solomon. And then we're also going to introduce ourselves to the first chapter of the book of Ecclesiastes. And that's going to set off the series. And hopefully, a theme will develop, but we want to examine wisdom. Wisdom is a carnal term, carnal meaning earthly term for the Holy Spirit, which is our ability to understand the word of the Creator, which in carnal terms is called, what the world calls Jesus, which is the Holy Word made flesh. So we'll tie in some of those simple statements, lock them in. And so here is the primary audience, primary with any other soul who may be affected by the series or the word. They're part of the audience as well. So we're going to start with our first verse of the Holy History in the book of Exodus, starting at 1 and going to 5. So, now these are the names of the children of Israel, which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah. Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin. Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls. For Joseph was already in Egypt. So those are the sons of Jacob. Joseph had arrived into Egypt previous to that. Joseph, while in Egypt, was given an Egyptian wife. He had 2 sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. So our Israelite brother, Joseph, was married to an Egyptian, a Hamite, had 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim. So our audience is primarily those people. So we are going to start with getting an idea or an understanding of the third king of our nation of Israel, the sons of Jacob, and that is our brother King Solomon. He ascended the throne after his father David, and after the kingdom was established in his hand, we will start and understand the authorship of this series, as we will understand Brother King Solomon to be a vessel of the word of the Holy Creator. So we are now over in the book of 1 Kings chapter 3, and we will start at verse 5. And let's begin. In Gibeon, the Lord appeared to Solomon in a dream by night, and God said, "Ask what I shall give thee." And Solomon said, "Thou hast showed unto your servant David, my father, great mercy, according as he walked before you in truth and righteousness, and in uprightness of heart with you. And you have kept for him this great kindness, that you has given him a son to sit on his throne as it is this day. And now, O Lord, my God, you have made your servant king instead of David, my father, and I am but a little child. I know not how to go out or come in. And your servant is in the midst of your people, which you have chosen, a great people that cannot be numbered nor counted for multitude. Give therefore your servant an understanding heart to judge your people, that I may discern between good and bad. For who is able to judge this, your so great a people? And the speech pleased the Lord, that Solomon had asked this thing. And God said unto him, because you have asked this thing, and have not asked for yourself long life, neither have you asked riches for yourself, nor have you asked for the life of your enemies, but have asked for yourself understanding to discern judgment. Verse 12. Behold, I have done according to your works. Lo, I have given you a wise and understanding heart, so that there is none like you before you, neither after you shall any arise like unto you. And I have also given you that which you have not asked, both riches and honor, so that there shall not be any among the kings like you all your days. And if you will walk in my ways, to keep my statutes and my commandments, as your father David did walk, then I will lengthen your days. Verse 15. And Solomon awoke, and behold, it was a dream. And he came to Jerusalem and stood before the ark of the covenant of the Lord, and offered up burnt offerings, and offered peace offerings, and made a feast to all his servants. All right, family. We have been introduced to Brother King Solomon. Brother was humble. He knew his station, became the king, and like, hey, I'm the son of David. I know how you felt about David. I'm in charge of your people, and hey, help me to be what you need me to be to administer to these people in righteousness. And I mean, I'm not sure about how many people given a wish from the Creator would go that route, and we see the effect of his humility and understanding and fearing the Lord that he needed to make sure everything was going together. So I think that's a attribute of major consideration. So we are now understanding that the Lord bestowed upon Brother King Solomon wisdom of his heart, understanding and discernment, great riches. So the wisdom part is what we will be exploring in this series on this holy Sabbath. And we are going to begin with Brother King Solomon giving us a framework of wisdom. And so we're starting in the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1. And in this book, Brother King Solomon is referenced as the preacher. So we are going to listen to what the preacher is putting down in our first brick of the path of wisdom. The book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 1, verse 1. The words of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, saith the preacher. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. What profit have a man of all his labors which he taketh under the sun? Verse 4. One generation passes away and another comes, but the earth abideth forever. The sun also rises and the sun goes down and hastens to his place where he arose. The wind goeth toward the south and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits. All rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from which the rivers come, then they return again. All things are full of labor. A man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with hearing. The thing that has been is that which shall be, and that which is done is which shall be done. And there is no new thing under the sun. Is there anything where it may be said, see, this is new? It has been already of old time, which was before us. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. Verse 11. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. I, the preacher, was king over Israel in Jerusalem, and I gave my heart to seek and search out by wisdom concerning all things that are done under heaven. This sore travail have God given to the sons of man to be exercised therewith. I have seen all the works that are done under the sun. And behold, all is vanity and vexation of spirit. That which is crooked cannot be made straight, and that which is wanting cannot be numbered. I communed with my own heart, saying, Lo, I am come to great estate, and I have gotten more wisdom than all they that have been before me in Jerusalem. Yeah, my heart had great experience of wisdom and knowledge. And I gave my heart to know wisdom and to know madness and folly. I perceive that this is also vexation of spirit. For in much wisdom is much grief. And he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow. All right, y'all. So that is the first brick of our path of wisdom. That was some powerful stuff. And you get to reading and looking at these words and hearing them. You can feel that spirit in your chest just churning and churning. So this is the end of part 1 of the Sabbath Wisdom series. Stay tuned for part 2. We will introduce ourselves to the book of Proverbs, the second brick on the path of wisdom, understanding, reconciliation of the nation, reading, researching, understanding the history of the descendants of slaves, those conquered and colonized, scattered all over the earth, worshiping other gods of wood and stone. O house of Israel, I love you. Part 2 coming up. All praises to the heavenly creator and the Messiah, who is the heavenly word made flesh. This is Revelations.Unveiled. Detroit.